Welcome to Digital Bestiary, the channel that takes a closer look at various creatures, monsters, and humanoids in the video game world. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the dreaded Deathclaw from the Fallout franchise. We'll be going over biology, lore, and even rare cases of high intelligence. So Deathclaws are bipedal horned reptilians that are genetically engineered to have maximum lethality. And yes, they are products of design. We'll get into that a little bit later. Deathclaws are typically 10 to 15 feet tall and weigh roughly 2,000 pounds. They have a few humanoid features like their long upper arms, and they were designed to be bipedal for two main reasons. One is that it raises their head, allowing for a larger field of view to spot threats and prey, and two, it frees the upper limbs, allowing them to be used as lethal weapons. Deathclaw horns are mostly cosmetic, but they are a great indicator of gender. Adult females will typically have smaller horns that are curved back, while adult male horns are larger and curved forward. Baby Deathclaws are about half the size of adults, but have the same large sharp claws, making them still very dangerous. Deathclaws are widely known for their 5 large claws on each hand, and this is actually their primary form of attack. This, combined with their immense speed and strength, make them extremely dangerous at mid to close range. Defensively, they have very thick, scaly skin that is resistant to blunt force, and they are also immune to radiation. The only weakness that they have, and it isn't much, is their soft underbelly. Deathclaw have an excellent sense of smell and hearing, but their eyesight really isn't anything to brag about. They are carnivorous and extremely territorial, and will typically belong to a pack led by an alpha male, and these can be spotted with their larger, thicker horns and brown-hued skin. And the alpha male usually pairs up with an alpha female. Nobody is quite sure what the Deathclaw's natural diet consists of, but I think it's safe to say they'll eat just about anything that's made of meat and crosses their path. Deathclaws will not seek out human settlements though, but if you do spot one in the wild, it's best to either run in the opposite direction or get some distance before initiating attack. So how did these death machines come to be? Well, Deathclaws were actually created by the US government before the Great War in hopes to replace troops in close quarters combat. They were engineered from a mix of DNA from various animals, but primarily from the common Jackson chameleon. The project was a success in engineering a lethal creature that was an immense force to be reckoned with, but there's currently no record of them ever actually being deployed into battle. Maybe domesticating a 15-foot tall death lizard was a bigger challenge than they expected. After the Great War, they did manage to escape captivity, which resulted in them reproducing and spreading across the entire continent. I can imagine a creature like this can cause any natural ecosystem to step aside while they take their place at the top of the food chain. Later on, Deathclaws were eventually refined by the master of the super mutants through genetic mutation in the forced evolutionary virus, or FEV, which is an artificial virus that essentially forces genetic changes in living creatures. This caused them to become the extremely fast and powerful creatures that we're familiar with today. But just because you've encountered a few Deathclaw, it doesn't mean you've seen it all. Naturally, Deathclaws have low intelligence, but in the year 2235, the Enclave, which is essentially the new US military, decided to continue their Deathclaw project, focusing on developing a high intelligence variant. They were hoping to create a Deathclaw that could understand and follow orders. On May 17th, 2242, the first successful batch of intelligent Deathclaw were placed into Vault 13 for the purpose of killing anyone who entered. Let's just say the Enclave had secrets surrounding Vault 13 that they didn't want anyone to discover. However, the super intelligent Deathclaws, led by their leader Gruthar, who can be seen in Fallout 2, were far more intelligent than the Enclave could have ever imagined. They started developing their own culture, and they also rebelled against the orders of the Enclave, allowing many humans who stumbled onto them to live in the vault safely. These super intelligent Deathclaws were eventually exterminated by the Enclave with the help of Frank Horrigan, one of the Enclave's best soldiers. However, there are still rumors that Gruthar and his pack actually survived the attack and continue to peacefully expand through the wastes. Other than these hyper-intelligent subtypes, there were also some other variants you might come across in the wasteland. The albino Deathclaw is a very rare variant that has pale skin and red eyes. It's also more dangerous due to having much more health than its regular cousins. There's also Enclave Deathclaws, which are the result of the Enclave relying on brute force as a means of control. They are fitted with a special contraption that sits on their skull and connects to their brain, giving the Enclave soldiers the ability to command these creatures like guard dogs. Deathclaws being controlled this way do not perceive Enclave soldiers as a threat. However, the Brotherhood of Steel created devices to scramble these signals, causing the Enclave to be the only valid target for these creatures. Now, if you encounter a glowing Deathclaw, you might want to especially keep your distance, as they have all the power of a regular Deathclaw, but also inflict radiation damage. They can be spotted by their glowing light that emits from their skin between their scales. Chameleon Deathclaws can be extremely dangerous because they have the ability to change color to either display their mood or hide in their current environment, as if brute force wasn't enough. Even a century after the Great War, many Wastelanders still referred to Deathclaws as being only legend. It didn't help that most that came into contact usually didn't survive to tell their story. However, with their steady growth over the years, most Wastelanders are aware of their existence, and a lucky few get to tell their stories of encounters with these beasts, and maybe even can make a pretty penny selling Deathclaw eggs, as they are considered a delicacy. I think it's safe to say these creatures fit awkwardly into the current state of the wasteland, as they were never meant to exist. I want to know which creatures from any video game you guys want to hear about next down below in the comments. And if you guys do enjoy this type of content, a like on the video and a subscribe to the channel would be much appreciated. This has been the first entry of many to come in Digital Bestiary. Farewell, and until next time.